evening, everybody. How are we this evening? It's a bit chilly, isn't it? It's a bit chilly. I'm super cold tonight. I've come in here and in the studio, and it looks like the heating was turned down. It was 5 degrees in here, so I turned the heating up, but it's not warmed up yet. I've not been in here today for obvious reasons, but yeah, hopefully you're all at home tucked up nicely and ready for tonight. We're going to have a busy one tonight, I think. There's going to be lots of crafting tonight, so it's going to be less chat, more craft tonight, I think. So let me just go and see who's here and say hello to everybody. I think things will start to quieten down now a bit because obviously Christmas is around the corner. Football's on, etc. But let me say hello to a few people. So good evening, Emma, Karen, Jeanette, Carol, Jackie, Beverly, Linda, Jonquil, Jenny, Gaynor, hi Deborah, Nina, Bella, Hayley, Con, Nettie, Nina, sorry, I've said Nina, Susie, Jeanette, hi Ben. You've been shopping today, Ben. Sam, Hilary, Valerie, Mary, Ross. I'll keep going. It's keeping my hands warm, moving that mouse. Hi, Becky from California. I bet it's nice there, isn't it? Elizabeth, Catherine. Oh, I've missed a few people. Maxine. Hang on a minute. I've just gone down too far. Oh, goodness me. Bear with. Valerie, Mary, Ross, Sarah Jane, Becky, Sam, Janet, Catherine, another Jeanette, Serena, another Catherine, Jean, Seal, Susie, hi Pat, Caroline, Amy, Shirley. Oh, thank you, Sarah, Wendy, Patricia, another Patricia, two Patricias, Joe, Diane, Tina. I'm going to keep talking while people are arriving. Maxine, Philomena, Heather, Donna, Glenda, Anne, Lisa, Alex, Elizabeth. Becky's got her foiling plates. Oh, yes, have fun with those. They are lovely. Jennifer, Rebecca, Carol, another Anne, Nan, Mariam. Hi, Vicky from Indiana. Welcome. What's the weather like there? I bet it's not like it is here. It's 5 degrees in here. That's inside. It was -3 this morning, I think. Lorraine, I'll keep going. There's some of you here. Make sure you like and share for me, won't you, everybody, for the giveaways, the 2 giveaways we're doing. Keep going. Adrian, Alison. So how is everybody? There's loads more that I haven't even got to. I'm going to stop now because I've just spent all evening saying hello and I want to get into demo tonight. Thank you, Margaret. It's 54 in Indiana. Oh, yes, I decided to come on tonight. It was touch and go whether I would come on tonight. I'm sure some of you have seen the messages in the group today. Or this evening. Hi Pam. You got no sound, Susie. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me just check. Please someone tell me you can hear me and I've not been talking to no one. Hi Janet from Michigan. Loud and clear. Thanks, Hayley. Move forward in the new market. Right. Oh, loud and clear. Thanks, Deborah. Okay, so it's been hard to keep up with everybody, but good evening. Yeah, so we've had a bit of a crappy couple of days, to be fair. But I've decided to come on tonight anyway. Danny wanted me to as well, so we just need to keep ourselves very busy and get on with some crafting. He's yeah, as I said, if you could just be really patient with us at the minute, and particularly Danny, because he's still getting loads of messages. Obviously nobody knew any different, but he's getting a lot of messages about when's my parcel arriving. I ordered it a week ago. And unfortunately, we just can't control the postal service. It's been horrendous. We all know that. You know, some of my DT, I sent parcels out nearly a fortnight ago, and some of my DT have got them, but there's still 4 of them that still haven't even got their parcels yet. It's been horrific. I'm still waiting for Christmas stuff to come that I've ordered a couple of weeks ago. So please be patient. And if he doesn't answer, he's got a lot on his mind. Obviously, lots to sort out. Family aren't local, so it's a lot of travelling to be done as well. So not a good time. Birthdays, it's all just all come at once, really. So let's do some crafting, he said, and he said he might tune in and do a bit of watercolouring with us, but I don't think he will. I think he was just basically telling me to get on with it. So you got your brushes yesterday. Well, that's really good, Anne. Is that for brushes for tonight, or is that brushes for blending brushes? So yeah, make sure you've liked and shared for me, and you'll be in with a chance of winning some goodies. As I said, all the parcels have gone out, everything's gone, so it is a case of just waiting to see when things arrive. But thank you all for your very kind wishes, and I will pass them on to him. He's not on social media at the moment, obviously. I did try to block him from the posts I put out, even though he asked me to do it. I can't seem to block him. It would be nice sometimes, but I can't block him from seeing it, so I just turn the comments off. But thank you very much, everybody. Oh, bless him. Okay. So don't bother you, Lisa. Richard post. I know, Cindy. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what is going on at the moment. Yeah, keep Dawn posted on that, won't you, for me? Because yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, right. So, shall we get on with some crafting? I think what we need to do is have some fun, a little bit of chill out, and we're going to do quite a few things tonight because I felt that I started to colour in one of the images, and I thought I could sit here and colour in a buttercup, or I could sit here and colour in a sunflower, but you're just going to see there's only going to be time to do kind of one thing. So I've decided to break it down a little bit, do some bits, and then maybe I'll show you how to do a couple of leaves, and I'll show you how to do a couple of petals, and I'll show you how to use wet on wet, then I'll show you how to use wet on dry, and how you get different results that you can carry forward into every other embossing folder. But I'm showing you 2 that are incredibly different, and I've done different techniques with them. So if that works for you, if I go quiet, it's just because I'm concentrating. If I miss comments, I'm sure there is Deborah and Dawn, I'm sure here, and Miriam, potentially, or some of the DT here as well, that will be able to help out. Okay. So thank you very much all for your kind words. Thank you very much. I'll pass them on to Danny. I will. So I'm going to turn the camera over for you. And I think it's really important that I show you exactly what's on my desk. For those of you who haven't got the bundle or thinking about the bundle, it is on, Deborah kindly popped it onto the front page of the website for us, which means if you watch tonight and you fancy what you see, there's a terrific deal on there for you. Again, postal service permitting, it should be there before Christmas, but we have been told that second class postage is barely struggling to get there for Christmas. So, but if it's just something you want and you're something to look forward to, grab it while you can. So I'll turn the camera around and I'll go through everything with you. So let me just flick you over here. So my desk looks very strange. It's at an angle. It looks like I'm not doing much, but I am. And my water looks dirty. Yes, it is. There's a reason for that. My palette looks dirty. My palette's always dirty. I have given it a good clean up, and I have got a piece of tissue here, and that's there for a very good reason too. So what we're looking at is the embossing folders to work with our watercolors, but we're not going to just kind of leave it at that. We're going to go into a little bit more detail than that because, hi Alison from New York, we're going to go into a little bit more detail than I would normally do on a live. I normally just pop a card together, but this isn't really like that. So you might be thinking, well, why does she do layering stencils if we're doing watercolouring? And it's because not everybody wants to stencil. Some people like the mindfulness of colouring. Some people just want to colour, quite frankly. But the watercolours are stunning. And they are really good quality, but you will know that, and you will see that. If you've got them, great. If you haven't, I'm going to prove to you how good they are tonight. So we've got two sets of kits, if you like. So we've got one with the buttercup bloom, and it comes with the buttercup bloom embossing folder and the layering stencil, and it comes with the I might be wrong, it's the watercolor palette and the brushes and the A4 book. So basically, for example, you will get these two that work together, obviously, and then we've got the same thing for the sunflower. Now the embossing folder is inside there because I damaged my packaging, but it's in there as well, so you've got the option of either or. So this will work with all of your embossing folders that are florals. Now in the kit you also get this, which is our brushes. So these are our watercolor brushes, which you can use them for all kinds of paintings, so not just your watercoloring. They're a synthetic hair, and when you open it out you get your sponge. You can buy brushes very similar to this off the shelf, but there are some brushes in here that I've changed the widths of, and I've changed the lengths of the head because some of them were too long, some of them were too spindly, and I wanted some that were quite fat as well. But you'll see them when you get yours home, if you have got them or if you've ordered them. You also get your, what I really like, you get your metal spatula as well, and then you get your brushes. So it comes in this lovely fold-up case. Now inside you've got your carry handle, if you like, so that pops out there, but also you can lift this up. Okay, lift this up. I'm just pushing that way. Fold that back. You see under here you've got Velcro, and you've got Velcro on the back here, and you can literally Velcro that down, and your brushes will stand. Obviously it looks very strange from my angle, but I'll do it from here again. Lift those up. I've taken a couple of my brushes out, pop them down like that. So your brushes will all stand up for you. Okay, when you've finished. Oh, dear Julia, honestly, it's lovely to have a review of them here so people can see how wonderful they are. So thank you for doing that. So yeah, there's your brushes. When you get them home, they're as hard as nails, okay? So this is the largest brush. So what you need to do, you need to pop it into water, but they are hard when they come to you. They're solid and hard, but you can break the fibres down and get them into water, and then you can use them. They're beautiful, beautiful brushes. Okay, so that's lovely. They're great for washes as well, those ones. And then we've even got the brush. Oh, actually, let's lift this up. Yes, you've got a little elastic piece there, and that pops into the holder. And here we've even got our brushes that, great for doing the splattering effects as well. So you can literally that, and it splatters the water to give you the details on your cards as well. Can you get the brushes separately? They should be on the website actually to buy the brushes separately. Deborah, if they aren't on there separately, I certainly have got at least a dozen of those if they're not on there, but I do think they are. So did you know that they did that, Philomena? They're really good. They're really good. So these are your brushes. Okay, so I've taken, and they're all numbered as well, and I'm using the number 2, which is up here, and the number 5. Okay, they're lovely. They're absolutely lovely. So I'm going to pop that over like so, and then you've got your, remember I opened mine so they're wide, so my little zip is there. So just pull your zip down, and then you can seal it up like so. Okay, beautiful, beautiful brushes. And the other thing you're going to get is it's still wet. Hang on a minute, let me just do something. This is your A4 spiral bound hot press watercolor card. It's I can't remember if it's 20 or 25 sheets in here. It's landscape as well. So It doesn't have to be landscape, but it's easy for tearing card out anyway. But I like them landscape. So, but I work with mine landscape, but I also work with them portrait. So it doesn't really matter if I'm honest. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so let me have a quick drink, and then we're going to crack on with it. I did get asked about refills for the watercolor palette before, and the problem is each one of these I have to have 3,000 of. So I need you to use your watercolor palettes an awful lot so I can fill up on the colors that you're missing. Okay, but I will be this year, I'll be doing a collection number 2 with some other colors as well. All right, so we're going to talk about those tonight as well. So we might go over the hour tonight, and as long as you don't mind that, I'll keep going. I'll soon find out when the numbers drop if you get fed up with listening to me. So the watercolors. So what we're going to do with the watercolors is a couple of different things. Now, when we first start, I'm going to highly recommend you tear out your watercolor card, or even lift it up and take, if you can't bear to tear it, take a pair of scissors and cut across the bottom. All right, take your card out. Then I want you to get your embossing folders, and I want you to emboss some. All right, and I'll talk through this in a minute, but what I really want you to do, I don't want you to get overwhelmed, so I want you to take a small piece like so. This is a random piece, and I want you to pop it in your folder, and I want you to just literally emboss a small amount. All right, so what I've done here, like here, you'll see this. I'll put you on the other camera in a minute. Let me switch you over because it's easier to show you. All right, so the camera's looking for my eyes, so I'm just going to cover my eyes with this. All right, so if I bring that forward in a second, there we go. So I've just taken one piece and I've embossed it randomly, and that's all I want you to do. I want you to practice like this and actually use this as your piece of artwork. All right, and that will make sense in a minute when we get on to what we're going to be doing. So let's talk about the watercolors. Let's talk about how we use them, the different ways of using them, and let's have a look at the brushes I'm using. So I've got the number 2 brush here. I adore this brush. It's fine. It's quite long. There is a shorter one in there if you want the shorter one. Or there's one very similar to this, actually. Not much different, but I really, really like this because I can get into all the detail with this. When you finish with it, I can highly recommend you take it into the bathroom, run it under the tap, put a tiny little bit of soap on the end, pull all the bristles together and pop it back with its little lid. Now my little lid is on my table in my lounge, but my other one, where's the other one? Oh, I did have the lid on both. There it is, there's the other lid. So pop your little lid back on if you can, just to keep them nice and safe. Next thing is when you look in your watercolor palette, you also get a water brush. Now this, you don't want to leave, is what for the bundle, Jennifer. I'll kind of leave the live in the nicest possible way, but you won't know that I've left the live. So if I just go to my website, let me just do something. I don't mind doing this. It's easy for me to do it. So if you go to the front page of my website, you can buy the watercolor starter bundle, which is the watercolor palette, the watercolor brushes, and the A4 book, and that's $34.99 for all of it. Or you can buy the same thing with the embossing folders. Hang on, oops, with the buttercup bloom as well, and that's $49.99. Same for the sunflower garland. So you can buy the whole lot for $49.99, or you can buy 1, 2, 3 for $34.99. Or on their own, these are $29.99. The brushes, I think, are $14.99, and these are $14.99 as well. So that is the prices of them. So I hope that helps a bit. Okay, save you leaving. Right, now, so you're going to get your watercolour brush, okay? Now, the watercolour brushes, I have lots of people messaging me saying, I can't open them. So what you need to do, you're going to get a medium brush here, and you're going to think, you're going to open it like normal. You think you're going to open it, and you're going to go, that's not going to open, and isn't going to open. Watercolour brushes open the opposite way, all right? So they're going to open anti-clockwise. Fill it with water and screw it back up clockwise. It's just so alien to do this. I don't know why it is. I don't know why they do it. It must be something to do with the flow of the water. And then you can squeeze your brush and the water comes out and you can use it. What we're doing, I don't want to use that tonight. I want to use the brushes. So we're going to first of all look at the watercolour card, and we're going to look at how cool these paints are, because these paints are absolutely stunning. All right. Does water brush come with the paint? Yes, it does, Sarah. Sorry, I've just seen that. Now, you're going to get 24 colours. From here to here are regular watercolour colours. From here to here. All right. These beauties are metallics. And I haven't got a piece of black card. Let me see if I've got a piece of black card. Hang on. I might be able to. Yeah, oh no, you can't see that. I've got a piece of black card as well, so I'll show you that as well. So loads to show you. Now I'm using that bigger brush because now I'm going to crush this. That's really wet. Let me just get a little brush, not a little brush, let me just get a little bit of tissue. I'm going to wipe this. I don't really want to do this because normally I like to leave this to dry, but if I don't do this, I'm going to ruin this now, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but I need you to do that to dry that off. Otherwise I can't work with you. It looks quite cool actually. Anyway, so I'm going to tear that out, pop that on the floor. Now, let's bring in our paint. So I'm using the bigger brush here. What I recommend you do is go into your water, just grab a colour. Now this, let's go with the yellow. Let's start with the yellow. And you're going to literally rub onto the yellow, bit more water, and you're going to activate these paints. Now the yellow, you'd think, okay, they're going to be nice enough, but wait till you see the pigment in these paints. So look at this. See how long this lasts. Hang on a minute. There's your pigment. Oh, goodness me. All the way down. So there's your pigment in these colours. They are beautiful. Let's bring out a red for you. Let's do the orange. Let's do an orange. So just show you some of the colours. Activate your colour, and there's your orange. So these are all going to be just stunning colours. All right, all the way down. I didn't have as much water on there, but I was bringing a little bit more water. So there you go, all the way down. Yeah. So there's your beautiful colours. Let's go in with a red. No, let's go in with a pink. I love this colour. I absolutely adore this colour. There's your pink. No, it's not. I've picked up the wrong colour. I can't believe I picked up the wrong colour, but I still like this colour anyway. And then we've got our pink. I'm not going to keep doing that because I'll end up there all day. Let's bring in the blue. Another gorgeous colour. Let's not do the whole page because I'm wasting a page. Let's just do. So you'll see what I mean. They are absolutely stunning. They're going to last you forever. Let's come in with a green. Let's take off some of that colour. Let's come in with the green. This is just to give you an idea of the palette. So we're working with, look at that lime green. Look at that lime green. I adore that colour. One of my favourite colours. We'll be using that tonight. So there's your lime green. And let's go with your darker green. Now this looks like a brownie colour, but it isn't. It's a beautiful green. So this here, look at that. So there's your green. And let's bring in, I didn't do a red, did I? Let's do a red. Here's my red. Let's do that. I love this red. Red is my favourite red. So there you go. This is what I do my poppies with, this red. Love this red. So this is just some of the colours. And then we'll go in, here's a brown. Like that, it looks black, but it's not. And when you activate them, they're beautiful. Look at that. So there's your brown. You can darken. I could have done a darker brown, but I didn't because I thought you could activate that and make it darker with your black. And then you've got your black. So let's just pop a little bit of black on here just so you can see. Got a lot of water with that. Too much water. Hang on. There's your black. All right. So there's all your. That's not all your colours, but there's some of your colours. Now, if we do this on, let's lift that away for 1 minute. So that's great for your backgrounds. Okay. Literally, just great for your backgrounds. Now, I'm going to put some water in each of these because the metallics take a little bit longer. Because I don't actually know why. I was going to say I did know why, but I don't really know why. So the water in here is obviously miscoloured, as you know, but I've done it because I need you to see something in a minute, and I can't show you if you can't see the water. So silver, right? You can wait for that to. I'll let that go in a minute. That will dry, and you'll see that in a minute. And the gold, I've missed this one on purpose. Here's your gold. So there you go. The silver will dry, but you've got to wait for it to dry before you see the colour come through. So I'll come back to the silver in a minute. And then we go all the way through. And then we've got our red. You see? There you go. And then we've got our green, which is like a greeny grey. And that's super cool. And then let's go to the blue. I think the silver was the first and it hadn't been activated long enough, and there's your blue. But you see what I mean now, can't you? And let's go back to that silver again. Let's get you a better silver than we've got there. There you go. There's your silver. So these are all your colours, all right? Now this one here is like your chameleon colour. So this has got a, I don't know, I'm just going to check something while you're there. Hang on a sec, everybody. Let me just do something. Deborah has been a little angel, and if you were just interested in the brushes or the watercolour palette or the watercolour books, they are all on the website, on the front page as well for you. So thank you, Deborah. So here's your chameleon colour. This is your chameleon gold. Now this colour you can mix with any of your other colours and you'll turn them metallic. Okay, so this is going to give you, so let's do this for example. So we're kind of going on a bit of a journey here. So let's add some in here in our palette. Okay, just down here, you can kind of see it. And let me add a purple, because we haven't got a purple, have we? So I'm going to mix that with the chameleon. Oh, you can't, it's going to come out gold on here. When you pop it onto your white card, you're going to get your purple colour. But you can see, I don't know if you can pick up, oh, you're not going to be able to pick it up very well here. But if it's starting to come through. It's very hard to see. Let them dry. I think you can probably see it's starting to come through, pinky purple. Bring in some more purple. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean. It's going to change your colour. It's kind of there, but it's very hard to see on these cameras. I don't have Create and Craft good cameras, but it gives you the idea. Okay, so that is what your metallics are going to do. So if you want to do colour in using your black metallics, oh, it's going to be stunning. It's going to be stunning. So the next thing we're going to talk about, let's tear this page out. I used to do landscape paint, all different weights of paper, watercolour brushes. But no, I don't do the metallics on their own at the moment. We're looking at doing a set of metallics. That's our next thing in terms of the paints. We might just do a set of 12, but we're looking at that next year. Okay. Right. So I'm going to say to you now, I am no expert at this. This is stuff I've picked up along the way. So what you can do is you can do lots of different things. You can do things they call wet on wet, wet on dry, and it gives you the ability to get different results. So, for example, a wet on wet would be you wet your card. Now, this is why I put the the colour, the dirty paint down. So now you can see it, otherwise you never would have seen that. So you should be able to see this kind of little circle going on here, and it's really wet, and I mean really wet. I mean, you wouldn't have yours this wet, quite this wet, but so now I'm going to come in with the red, and the red is wet as well, and I'm going to pop the red in the middle of this piece of card, and you can see straight away it starts to wick and all the colour starts to bleed out. So while it's still wet, you can then go in and add a different colour, for example. So you could add a look, that's not quite wet enough. So add a little bit of orange, for example. You're not going to pick it up there, are you? Let's put it around the edge. Pick up a little bit of orange. Can you see what it's doing? It's literally wicking out, but it won't go any further than where that water finishes. It kind of holds it into place, if that makes sense. So it's gonna go as far as that line, but it won't go over that line. You can see now it's kind of bleeding out a little bit. So if I went in now, for example, got my little piece of tissue here, wipe off a little bit, and I went in with a black. Just went in, I mean, this isn't going to make anything, but this is how you would make a flower. And you put the black in the middle. You watch where the black moves in a minute. I'll leave that like so. It will fade out because it's really the water is still very, very wet. But if we pop that, sorry, I need a little bit more water. Pop that here. You can see already it's starting to move out. So if you leave that now, and we'll come back to that in a minute, and you'll see all that colour start to, you can see it now, it's starting to bleed out. So this is how people do, I mean, I'm not, this is just me showing you what you can do. So what will happen now, somebody who's far more talented than me would make a shape, for example, like a, I don't know, like a semicircle, and they put maybe the red in across the bottom, okay, like so. And then what you can do then is a little bit more red at the bottom. You can then bring in, this is when you kind of maybe bring in a black, and you can pop a little bit of black across the top here. And this is way too wet, but what it would do, you keep going and going and going, and eventually you could end up making it look like a poppy. I mean, I can't because, hang on, I don't know if I can go and do that like so. I'm probably going to completely ruin that now. There you go, so I can just fill those gaps. And then people will start to play with that, turn it into a poppy. It'll be super cool, and pop a little stem like so. Look at that already, just really, really quickly. And then you can literally down and up there, down and up. But you see what I mean? Straight away, you can start to play and start to do things. So that is what the wet on wet technique does. As I said, I'm absolutely not a watercolor artist at all, but it just gives you an idea. So you can go away and you can play and you can do stuff like that as well. So that's wet on wet. Wet on dry is when we literally take, this is dry, your paintbrush is wet, so this is when we literally grab our paint. Let's grab that green again, and we do our painting this way, so we can then drop like so. Let's grab a little bit more, and then we'll drop like so. Then we can fill that in while it's still wet, okay, and let it do its thing. And if you want to, you can add a little bit of brown maybe around the edge, and that will literally follow that around, maybe a little bit there, so it looks a little bit more vintagey. And then you leave that to settle. You can even pop that just down like so. It's a little bit there that needs filling in because that's wet. And you can see what I mean. You can leave that, and then you can start building stuff up, okay? So it works really, really easily. Sarah, are you using one of the paints from your brush set? Yeah. Yes, this is number 5 from the brush set. But you can see what I'm saying now. You can do lots of different things. I mean, that's got nothing left on it now, but there's a little bit of tiny bit of colour on there, and then you can go back in and add a little bit more colour. But you need to do it while it's wet, okay? So that is that is just a kind of a little background. No expert skill here at all, but just showing you some of the things you can do. Go onto YouTube, follow some incredibly talented people, and honestly, you could create some amazing things. So that's that. So let's move all the bits out of the way. Let's come down a bit further here, and let's talk about embossing folders. I mean, so here, like I was playing earlier, and I did like a much smaller one there, and you can see that stayed really pretty, and that could be like a little rose or a little poppy. There, I was just seeing what colours bled into each other. That was quite cute. And then a couple of leaves here. I need to put another one in and fill it out. But again, start playing and having a look. So I got different results with different ways of doing things, and let's start with this. Okay, so this is what we're going to be, particularly the leaves tonight, and particularly one of the flowers, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I'm going to show you how I do the leaves beautifully, but I'm also going to show you what not to do. So for me, you can see, I don't know if you can see, you've got lots of little watermarks in here, and that's because I tried to add water after it dried, and it doesn't like it. They're really lovely. They're a really nice long brush, Sarah. If I get my hand from the middle of my finger, they're a really nice long brush as well. So they're longer. They're about the length of the watercolor palette if you've got the watercolor palette. So I'm going to show you what to do and what not to do. And here, this was my very first go, and I hated this, absolutely hated this, because what I didn't do here, when I painted the top of the embossing. I didn't paint the I've got a wet brush. I didn't paint the underside of the embossing. So what I ended up with was a lot of white gaps around the edge, and it looked awful. Hated it. But you know what? I learned from it. So that's definitely not what we're not doing. The next thing I did was try different colours and see what looked better. So this is where it started to get better. The blue, I had an accident with the blue. That was totally my fault. I dropped my paintbrush when it was dry. Hang on, let me turn the camera around so you can see what I mean. I dropped the paintbrush when it was dry. Look, can you see the bottom? What a mess I made. But the yellow one is where we're heading, all right? The yellow one is where we're heading tonight, all right? Let me flick you back again. And then the leaves, here you go. We've started the leaves, all right? See what here? There we go. Let me do that thing again. There. So we haven't done the flowers on this one, but we have done the leaves. So what we are going to do is we're going to do leaves on their own on a piece, and then we're going to do flowers as well, and then you'll see how you can mix them all together. So I've got one piece cut already. Oh, and then I'm going to show you the sunflower. Now the sunflower's going to take you longer, honestly. What's that beautiful background you're working? This beautiful background, which is very messy now. I'm going to be honest with you, if you go onto Amazon, it's a roll of wallpaper. Honestly, Hannah, you can do this. This is actually the simplest one. All I've done with this is I've taken one colour of yellow and I've coloured in around the edge here, and then I've got lighter as I've gone outside. And then this one, I've started to colour individual petals. So that's why it's going to take longer to do. But when we see the process done on the these, you'll see why. So they look like buttercups now, then they won't look like buttercups when you change the colour. You can keep them as buttercups if you want. But look, do you know what? I love that. I just love that almost on its own. And I feel like you could be really, really delicate with this bit in the middle, but that would look cracking if we had a black card again. Black card. Oh no, have I used everywhere? I have. Well, let me get another bit of black card to show you. That would look cracking if we... Come on, black card, out you come. If we literally mounted that onto piece of card. Like if you did it onto black card, so fold that in half, and that could be your card blank, and then you colour that in. What a beautiful card for somebody. A little frame, great piece of artwork. So don't even think about your embossing folders as a whole. Think about them as little pieces. So let's get into actual colouring now. But you need to go. It is the embossing. It seems to be. I think because this is 300 GSM, and I think it seems to have more substance to it. It's a hot press, which I'm sure it's hot press, whichever the one that is super smooth, it's the hot press. And it seems to, there is no cracking at all. But I always say it, if you use your cardstock smaller than your embossing folder, you tend to get a much better result. Much better result. So let me have another drink, because I've talked a lot. And we're going to get cracking. Now, when we first start this, you're not going to see much. And you're not going to see much because I need to use water. Let me put I'm going to put my scrappy bit of tissue under here. This is my bit I use all the time. All the time. Pop that under there. And you'll find this becomes actually really important to you. This little tiny bit of paper. It's bizarre. Let me pop that one underneath. No, let's get a black one underneath. Let's get that black one. Let's get this underneath. Now, you can't see anything yet, but when I get the water down, you will. So let me start and show you exactly what I mean. So what I want you to do, this is why I've done this one as well. We're going to start on one leaf. I'm actually going to start on one of the tricky leaves, and I'm going to start on a leaf that has got almost like a folded over edge. Have I got it on this one? I probably have. It's like this leaf here. All right, that leaf there. So it looks like you've got two parts of the leaf. So you do everything in parts. You don't do everything together. Now I'm going to put the water on here so you can probably see better. Now can you see that better now where I'm working? You will in a minute as things start to get moving. So all I'm doing here is I'm popping some water on that piece. All right, that tiny piece there. Then I'm going to pick up my green. Way too much green on there. Get rid of a ton of it. Wipe off, wipe off. Then I'm going to literally come in here and I'm going to colour just down this edge. And the water is going to let it trail. So I come in about halfway and you'll see it starts to move a little bit, you know, like I was showing you, because it's wet on wet. And then I wipe off completely, clean my brush, and then I come from this end and I blend this out, blend it out, just like so. So now you leave that to do its thing, and that is going to give you a beautiful leaf. Okay, the brush I'm using for the leaves is a number 2, and it's hard to see here for the minute, but let me do this other piece here. So here is our stem, and the rest of the leaf is over here. Okay, I'm hoping you can see this. It might be really it's really hard on white, so let me see if I can hold it up that way. So I'm going to come in with that dark green. I'm trying to lift it up so I can see you. I wish I could get even closer. And then I'm going to just come around here onto where I've just been, because it's wet. And that's going to be dark. I'm going to clean off that brush. Clean off that brush. And then just use the excess just down here to add a little bit of colour. Tiny bit of colour. Tiny bit of colour. Well, what you want to do is keep this edge dark, like so. I've got the water, a little bit of paint there. Just keep that edge dark. Okay, can you see that? You can see it's starting to bleed out here. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. The more I do, the more you'll see. Right, so let me go for the next one. So let's go to this big leaf here. So this leaf here, look at that. This is why I've got the dirty paint. dirty water, sorry. And you literally cover that with water. And then we do one side. We pull out from one side. So we grab that little bit of green again, and we do the one side down here. And you'll see that it starts to wick again. And it catches in all those little grooves, yeah? If you want a little bit more, go back just to that edge while it's wet and grab that colour, okay? And then you're going to turn it around and you're going to do exactly the same. Deborah, yes, I do. I think about 10, I think, at least, actually. We'll do the same here. While it's still wet, get rid of the rest of that water. Too much water there, too much water. And bring that in really lightly, okay? Really lightly. If you want to get a bit darker, go back just at that edge, colour in just like so. And you will see, again, it just fills that little trough in the middle, okay? What size brush are you using for the leaves, please? I'm using the number 2 brush for the leaves. Okay, so I don't want to think I'm missing it. Could you stencil onto watercolour paper? Absolutely, yes you can. Absolutely. Let me see if I've missed any comments. Don't think so. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Faye. That's really sweet. Thank you. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take, okay, so what we've done here, let me see if I can get the same angle, right. So what we just worked on, have I worked on that one? Let me know, I've got it the wrong way around. Is it that way? Oh, I can't see where I've done. Right, so my flowers here. So what we just worked on is, no, what have I done? Oh, it's because I've put it in at a different angle. So we've not worked on this bit. The bit here that you can't see is what we've done. So we're now going to come and start on these leaves over here. So what I'll do, I'll turn it around again. Let me get some, as I start doing more, it's all going to make sense, and I'll keep repeating what I'm saying all the time. And if you repeat it yourself, it will sink in. So bring that green, get some green down here. I've got loads of green on there. Take a ton off. Don't need hardly any of it. And then we're going to go around that edge again. Now for me, that's quite dark, and I haven't probably put enough water on my brush. I've taken too much off. Doesn't matter. So you clean your brush, and then you come back in and you just dab it out. Can you see that? What you've got to remember about watercolour is you aren't always in control. Watercolour, it likes to do its own thing, and you have to let it do its thing. And if you are precious about being exact, watercolouring isn't for you. If you like the natural kind of earthy look, which I do, watercolouring is going to be a great thing for you. And it is so relaxing. So relaxing. And actually doing this tonight, there's kind of been a bit of a saving grace, really. It's been quite a tough day today. And to, sit down and do something which is a little bit mindful is really, really nice. So that's all I'm going to do there. And I'm going to let that do its thing and come out. Can you see what I mean? Just a little bit more water on there. But do all this while it's wet, okay? Linda, you're absolutely right. And Ross, yes, I do. I absolutely do. What you need to do is start small. So you need to literally, do you know when I showed you earlier and I showed you this? This is really important, okay? This is a really important thing, to literally play with your watercolours. So I literally, if I draw here, because I've got the colour in there, I'm going to draw that again. And I'm going to fill that with water. So this is where you start with your practice. Don't go straight onto your folder. Start with a bit of practice. So I've got a leafy shape. And I'm going to bring that green in, and I'm going to do exactly what I've done on the folder. I'm going to go down one side. down one side and let it wick out and do its thing. And I'm going to turn it. I know I'm turning a massive book. And I'm going to do the same here. I've got a bit of red in there by accident, but actually, who cares? It's going to look super cool. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to let that bleed out and just do its thing. So there, straight away, you've created a leaf. Now you might look and go, well, that's not dark enough, but because it's still wet, you know, you might pick up a brown now and go, do you know what, a little bit of brown there, let's put a little bit of brown there. You might go, okay, I'll have a little bit of brown on there, just straight down. No stress, no stress. Wipe off, just dab in a little bit while it's wet and let it do its thing. And just let it go, let it go. Can you see how different that now looks and this now looks? That's even still wet, so I probably over-egged the pudding on that one a bit. And here, that's still wet. I can still see that moving, but that was more to show you than anything else. But as I say, you can just literally practice and practice and practice. I genuinely think you will love it. You will love it. And if I said it was easy, it's not easy. It is one of those things that it's more mindful, in my opinion. It's one of those things that you do a lot of leaves, you know, just pick up any embossing folder. And actually, like on this one here, I just really enjoy doing these leaves, and we'll do these leaves in a minute. Leaves are a great place to start. Flowers are going to be good as well, but start with your leaves. I honestly think, Sarah, you'll be really surprised at what you can do, and especially with watercolors. If you've got the right tools and the right brushes, I think you'll do a great job. I honestly do. So look at that now. That looks lovely. So it's all settled now. The colour's settling. Let's do these two. So we just keep repeating that dirty water, so you can see. Oh, it is quite dirty that now, but it doesn't matter. So you can see I'm literally popping the water down like so, just all over it, just so it's nice and wet. You don't, if your brush is dry, that's when you're going to run into problems. So pick up a little bit of that paint, and you're going to literally look at that. See, the water does the work. So you can see as I'm putting that on, it's literally moving itself. So just start practicing and playing with what it does. Now it's too light for me, so I've gone with a little bit more. Cover those edges, just cover those edges of the folder. It's still wet, which is great. Keep that a little bit, miss the edge there. And that, because while that's still wet, I'm just going to grab a little bit more dark around here. See that? Just let it go. And while it's wet, I'm just going to add a little bit more water here and just let it bleed out. Maybe a little bit more colour, a little bit more. And it will do its thing all the way along. So you're going to do that. So let me just do these other two leaves really quickly. Let me just grab this one. So I'm going to go around the edge. It's off the page, this one. Tap the water off, bring that colour in, just like so. Another bit of colour, because I want to show you some other things. So I've done that, and then we're going to, because I want to change the colour up. I want to change the colour up to the light green. Oops, I'll just do this one. Oh, see, if you get it wrong like that, dab it off. Just literally dab it off, because it's water. You get a little stain, but we don't mind the stain because we're going to colour over it anyway. So here we go. And then we've got the green again. Got the green under here. Just in there. I'll put some green on the top here. I'm rushing a little bit, but you know what? Whatever happens, it's going to look good. Even if you just colour it, just without doing light and dark, it's going to look really good. Just colour them in. You wait, you will love it. You will love the result. Just don't try and be too precious about it. Let it go. Sorry, Lisa, I'm falling asleep. I have to catch up. Oh, as long as it's not me making you fall asleep. Yeah, you do not. You can have 2 bowls of water. I mean, I wouldn't normally let it go so dirty, but the reason I've done it is so you can see. But at home, yeah, you could have. I'm using a Yankee candle lid, is what I'm using. I don't even use a bowl of water. I just use a Yankee candle lid, and that's good enough for me. It does the job. There's a leaf here, just there. I'm just going to colour that in. So I'm not even going to stress about that one. Just colour that in. So there's the leaves. Now we're going to do these other big leaves here, and we're going to change up that colour because we don't want everything the same colour on this one. I want to show you different colours and how to mix colours as well. So here we've got a green, which is more like a meadowy green. Yeah, can you see that one up here? It's like a meadowy green, and actually it kind of gives you limey tones to it as well. And what you can now do is, if you think, no, I don't like that colour, just grab a little bit of the brown, maybe mix a bit of brown in with it, and it's going to give you a more earthy colour. So start mixing your colours out if you want to. You can leave it on there and it will dry, and then you can reactivate it with water in the morning next week, next year. So the next thing we're going to do is clean off our brush. Just take a couple of these larger flowers here, and I've still got that colour on the brush, doesn't matter. I'm going to keep that yellowy green colour anyway. So I'm going to just colour that in like so. And then I'm going to pick up some of that greeny colour, some of that green there. Then I'm literally going to do that edge again like I did before, just around that edge. Yeah, sorry if I go quiet. I just let that do its thing, just around that edge, and let the water take control. There you go. Just let the water do what it needs to do. We'll do this one, and then we've got a leaf here. So we're going to colour that in again. This is all using just what is left on the brush. So you can see normally that would be plain white water. But actually it doesn't matter. If you want it to do it like mine, do it like mine. It's fine. Turn that around. Add in some of that green again. Just a darker green around the edge. And let it wick out. And you'll come back to it. Because look at these now, how these have settled beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. And just let them do their own thing. So you'll go all the way through doing that, and then you'll get more of these kind of tones, these like nice bright colours. Do you know what, Margaret? It is. It really is. It doesn't. It's just practice and playing, and you'll find your way. And do you know what would look really good with this is the balloons. The balloons are just lovely with this. Do you need to clean the paints and mixing tray afterwards? I leave it all on there, and then I'll come back next week and it will all still be there. Like this red here will still be there next week, and it will be absolutely fine. Have a textured watercolour card, give more texture. Yeah, Deborah's absolutely right. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you've got your own watercolour card and you want to have a play, you can, but you just will get a more textured result. So let's now come in with the flowers. So we've got the 3 flowers here, and we've got one that I did here, and we've got the yellow here, which is the one I think we should go for first of all because it's really easy to work with. Now that yellow you're going to be really surprised at is this. This is yellow. It's like an ochre yellow. So when I do that, don't be surprised with it. It's absolutely glorious colour. No, almost like a mustardy colour, isn't it? So what you're going to do now is you're going to do the same thing, but what I need to do is start one so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start here. Now I'm doing this slightly different. So I'm not wetting my paper. I'm going in with the paint, but I don't want my if I grab you a spare bit, I don't want this too runny, if you like. I want it a little bit drier. So I take off a little bit off, and I'm going to come in on one of the petals. You work a petal at a time, and I'm going to go down one side, and I'm going to colour in. A lot of water on there. I'm going to colour that in, just like so. I'm dabbing one side. Don't do any more than one side. I keep saying it, but I want you to do it. One side. And then when you see the other half, you'll see what I mean. A little bit of water, tiny bit of water. Just blend in and you'll see the water will join there, but it will give you like a light and shade now. So now you'll see one side is darker than the other. Okay, so I've done one side and then used plain water and pulled out the colour from the other side. I'm going to turn it around because I don't want to do the next petal because it's still wet. It's going to bleed into the next one. So we're going to do the opposite petal. So let's grab some paint, take some off because it'd be quite wet. And we're going to go down the side, down one side, like so. I'll check comments in a minute. Down one side. I might need a little bit more paint on there because I need it a little bit darker. One side, like so. Water, clean off, dab your brush off, leave a little bit of water on there, but pick up just a little bit of the colour and you can get the other side and that will be shaded. So that's number 2. That's petal number 2. Next one, turn it around and then we'll pick up this one here. So exactly the same. I need to get some more paint in there because it's a little bit watery. And then we're going to go one side, down one side. So you follow the lines of the embossing. That's better texture. I've got much more pigment there. One side into the water, take most of it off, still have a little bit on there, but then you can blend that out. So you've got light and shade on your petal. Okay, there you go. Then we'll turn it around again. I'm going to come to this one now because that's close to drying. Straight on, underneath here, one side. All the way down. I might need a little bit more paint. If it gets a bit dry, just reactivate it with some water. One side. There we are. Follow those lines of the embossing. Okay, we need to do all of these. Oh, bless you, Sarah. Leave a little bit of water on, not a lot. Come back in. Grab that colour while it's still wet. You must do this while it's wet, you see. If you do it when it gets dry, you'll get watermarks. You know, like that salty mark you get when you've got that like white salt mark. You don't want that. So we can do this one now because this is probably dry as well. So I'll get a little bit more paint. Okay, and then we're going to literally come in with this. And then we're going to go down one side again. Keep going down that one side. Cross like so. Bit wet there, so just take a little bit of that off. And then up here. And then literally we're going to have a little bit of water. Again, I've got too much water there, so take some water off and just push that colour back into there. You can see it already. Got a little gap there, doesn't matter, just fill that in. If you lose your shading, just go in with some pigment. There you go. And kind of reactivate that just there. There you go. Might be too much, but I can just give that a dot off there. There we are. Okay. I'm going to turn that around and then we'll do the last one and then we're going to do the middle. And then I'll show you very quickly how we do the sunflower as well, because the sunflower is just lovely to do. I've got too much water on there, way too much water. Now I haven't got enough pigment. And if you find that happens, just get off what you need, grab a little bit more pigment and come back in because it will still be wet. And then that will blend that out, just like so, all the way around there. One side, so keep saying, water, tap off, Come from this side again. There you go. So there's your petals. There's your petals. See that? Now, doesn't that look watercolour-y now? It's so pretty. You can do this in any colour you like. Absolutely any colour you like. So you've got to remember, it's never going to be a perfect science. It's never going to be, you're going to have lines, you're going to have marks, you're going to have dark bits like this. But this is literally what watercoloring's like. I mean, you can have a wash, you can have it dark, you can have it light, but you're not always in control of watercolor. So in the middle here, I found what looked best for me. This is personal choice. I did, the wet on wet technique. So we went put the water straight down, and with that poppy I showed you on the book here, well, we put all the water down, didn't we? And then we dabbed in. We're going to do that in the middle here. Now, I'm not fussed. I've still got yellow on my paintbrush. So I'm going to literally put that in the middle like so, okay? You could leave it like that if you wanted to, but what's really cool is to grab a black. So you grab your black on your brush and you do that dotty thing. You know what I did before? Dot it in the middle. Then bring a bit more colour, and you'll find it's going to fit in all those little gaps, and it will blend out. It might bleed into some of your work. Who cares? It's watercolour. It does its own thing. So there you go. So that straight away, I have a watercolour palette. Do I need another? Your watercolour palette should be fine depending on the colours you've got, Sarah. But if you're happy with the colours you've got, just get yourself some good brushes and get yourself a nice watercolour, book, and you will be absolutely good to go. It does make such a difference. So what we'll do, just very quickly, we've got a leaf here, you see, just under here. And let me just show you how we do a leaf that's behind. Then I'll just show you very quickly how we do the sunflower, because the principle is exactly the same. I just think I'm going to run out of time. So here the water, the paint has dried. So you can see that's dried. And I'm putting my brush in. And I'm just reactivating that paint now. So that's nice and wet now. But I'm going to just grab my brush there, just dry it off a little bit, and I'm literally going to put the brush under here where that leaf is, and I'm going to all over there. And I'll come in with the darker paint underneath. Actually, I might need a little bit more paint in there. It's a little bit watery. I'm going to come under there. Then we'll come down here. We can come down here. This is one of the leaves done. Just wipe off again. Just bring that colour in. There you go. There's one leaf. We'll do the other leaf, which is here. So grab, oh, no, I didn't do my water. Grab my water. Put my water on here. Literally go around the whole thing. Sorry, that's because it's a bit greener than it would normally be. Wetting the cardstock because I had a lot of colour on there. Straight on there like so. And then just grab the darker colour. Put it underneath and a little bit around the edge. Let it settle in to do its thing. And it will settle in beautifully. Okay, there you go. Just a little bit of water, just make sure, dab some of that off like so. And I just grab, I'm not going to do it all. And then there's a little line down here because you've got this number 2 brush, which is nice and fine. Straight down here. There you go. And then I've got a little leaf here. I've got a little leaf here. I'm just going to wet them all so I can do it really quickly to show you. There's a little leaf down here as well I'll wet. And I can just grab that colour, just like so, on the edges. Very easy to do, just a little bit darker. There you go. That will do its thing nicely. And then that one will too. Let that bleed into each other. Running out of colour, but it's fine. Just colour pop those in. A little bit darker colour on the edges. Sorry I'm rushing this bit, but I'm aware of time. And then I haven't got enough paint, I don't think. Yes, I have. That will do. But that will give you a rough idea of how that little area will look. So you can see now how that's kind of starting to come together, yeah? Honestly, please don't stress it. Please, please, please do not stress. Can any watercolour card be used on this technique? Yes, it can. So what I'm going to get you to do at home, the first thing I want you to do, because you can't see very well, I'm going to do this at an angle so you can see. Let me find a leaf. I literally want you to get your paint in your palette. I want you to take your paint in your palette. I want you to wipe off. I want you to do these. I want you to get leaves. I want you to colour with water on your leaf. So you can see there's plenty of water. And I want you to do just want you to colour them in. You'll start to get a feel. You'll start to get a feel for it, okay? Once you've learned how to just colour your leaves in, then you can start adding your shade in, yeah? Don't stress over any of it. Honestly, all I'm doing is adding a little bit more and a little bit more. And I'm letting it, because it's wet, letting it do its thing, okay? So I've just done that, like so. Just do that. Keep doing that. And you'll see here, on these ones, from what I've just been showing you, on these ones, I've gone a little bit darker on some of these edges. I've left it a little bit lighter in the middle. You can make choices. So you can see some of these are a lot lighter. You can go darker in areas. You really must give it a try. I promise you, you will enjoy it. And what we can do is, if you do decide to give it a go, if you want to do it again next week, and we want to do a practice session, we can definitely come back and do that. 100%. 100%. I don't mind if that makes life, a little bit easier for you. I really, really don't mind. Okay, so let me know what you think. So let's just come in and do this one very quickly for those of you who got this one, because I think it's really important that you see this as well. Let me move that out of the way. Your first one is going to be terrible. Look, mine was terrible. Look, I missed bits. I missed bits everywhere. I didn't colour it in properly. The black didn't hit round where the yellow was. So don't stress, but please keep practicing. Get your book and practice. I went and bought a watercolour colouring book last year, and I practiced and practiced and practiced. They're lovely. They're lovely, lovely paints, and they make life quite easy. So just let's have a look at this very quickly. In the middle here, so what I used was this ochre kind of colour, the one that's up here that's dried. So we're just going to add some water. So very, very quickly, you would do exactly the same. Now it's very hard for you to see on this. So what I will do is I would take one leaf, like so, one side, colour in one side. It's too much water. Colour in one side. I keep saying that, don't I? It's not dark enough. A bit more pigment. One side. Wipe off. And then the other side. Oh, I forgot to put water on. Doesn't matter. The other side, and you brush the colour in. Now that looks two similar colours both sides. So I'll come up with this colour again. Just down one side again. See what I mean? So what you're going to do, every single leaf, every leaf. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Here, I just got yellow paint and I coloured it in. Look, show you. Where's the yellow? I'll show you on the other petal. I literally went like this, around the edge there. So this is what I'm saying, don't stress it, play with your paints. I went around the edge, all the way around here. And then went outwards and coloured it in. So while that was wet, see, I went in between the petals of each of the other flower. Okay. So you can do that all the way round if you want to. Keeping it wet, you can blend it out as far as you want to. But what it will also do, it will allow you to go in with a darker colour, like the darker orange, darker yellow, in here, and then come around here and wipe it off again, take some of the water away, and you can blend it out. Do you see what I mean? So just any way that works for you, give it a go, play with them. To do this here, let's just show you that. That's a really quick thing to do as well. So got some brown paint, put our brown paint up here, plenty of brown paint up there. Wipe off, and we're going to go all over this with water. Now yours will be clear water, mine's not because it's dirty, but I'm showing you what I'm doing. So you can see when I say water, plenty of water. So it stays wet till you've finished. And then you're going to do exactly what I showed you before, which is why I showed you all of this in the beginning. And you're going to go like that, one side, I need a little bit darker, one side, all the way around. There you go, see what I mean? When it starts to get too light, you get more pigment and you add it in. So one side, like so. Just going to come around that edge. And then you just get a little water. Remember I said before, just blend it in a little bit, blend it in. And there you go. Do you see what I mean? Obviously, you can spend a little bit longer on it than I have. I'm getting carried away now. But can you see what I'm saying? I've not finished all these edges off, but I just wanted to show you exactly how you do it. It's honestly one of those things that you think, oh, I really can't do that. Like the leaves here, these leaves are no different to the other leaves that we've got. So I'll show you again. I'm doing it with the dirty water again. So this is a big leaf which goes under the flowers, okay, and I'm doing it in this color just so you can see the outline of it. All right, so this is all leaf, yeah. So you're going to do exactly the same as you've done with everything else. You're going to pick your green up. I think I might need a bit more green in there. And you're going to do underneath, you're going to come round underneath, under the leaf. There we are, follow the leaf round. I think I might have picked up a petal there by accident, doesn't matter. All the way down. It's going to pick up all of those bits for you around that edge. Take some of the colour off, and then literally in we come. Dot it, dot it. There you go, look at that. And let it do its thing again. Do you see what I mean? I keep saying see what I mean, don't I? Sorry, I must be really annoying. It's the leaves on this are probably easier than the leaves potentially on the other one, maybe. I don't know, actually. I think it's all going to be just a little bit of trial and error. Let's do dot off a little bit. What you must remember, when you will run into trouble is if you try and go and fix something that's dried. If you try and fix it, because it's already dried, you are going to get marks. You're going to get those lines, like I said before. You will get them, but you know, sometimes they look really cool anyway, so I don't stress too much. Try and work while it's wet. There you go, just around the edge again, all the way around the edge, and just let that colour work its magic. Yeah, see that? All right, Governor. Honestly, it's great for distressing, and I genuinely think it's one of those things that you think, oh no, I don't know if I want to do that. But when you sit and watch things like this, like here, now that's settled. If you wanted to afterwards, you could go in with a gel pen or something. You could go with some glossy accents on that. And you see here, where's the other one I did? Oh, where's my, oh, there we go. No, wasn't it? Oh, here's this one. See here, I couldn't find out where all those leaves were. I couldn't see anything, so I just literally roughly did it. And like this one, can you see? Oh, here, this one here. I couldn't sit there colouring all those bits in, so I literally dabbed, just dab, dab, dab. The darker the edges, the more 3D. Absolutely, Con. It really, really is. I might skip asking for hubby to order it anyway. I won't have to wait long then. I can ask him for Sarah, you do make me laugh. Honestly, the palette is lovely. Let me just so basically you're going to do. Oh, I'm talking about too many things. So basically, you're going to go one side halfway in, bring the colour in the other side with water, even if it's slightly tinged water, but don't have loads of pigment this side. If you keep the shade, keep doing it one half, it gives them all dimension. It really does. So one half, shade the rest in. All of this is exactly the same. I've gone down the centerpiece, dark, light on that side. Again, here, dark, light on that side. So it really doesn't matter, but don't get too hung up on it. Really don't. Even here, dark, light on that side, dark, light on that side. Gives the appearance of being shaded. Even here, this, I mean, we'll get on to, when we get on to heavier stuff, we will look at using black. If you go onto YouTube, I've done a video, it's about an hour long, with watercolouring with poppies, and we use the poppies and we use a slightly different technique, and we go in with black. You see here, just around these pieces here, and it gives it crazy amount of depth. But I didn't want to push it tonight for that. I really don't want to push it tonight, but we can certainly come back and revisit. Okay, definitely. So you're going to get stunning colours in your palette. You're even going to get, like here, I'm going to just bring this in just very quickly, piece of card here. You're going to get gorgeous skin tones as well if you're colouring characters. You're going to get your, what I say is one of your staples, which is your grey. So grey is glorious. You're going to get your different tones of blue. So you're going to get your, that kind of blue. And then you get your tealy blue, which is this one. Completely different blue. And then you get obviously your oranges and reds. Let's go in with that purple, see if I can get a nice deep purple for you. It's really, really lovely colours. So all your palette has got the more than enough colours for you. But I think next week, reading the comments here, yeah, that's fine. So it's up to you. We can either continue with this technique and keep drumming it into you, or we can go with something like the poppies and go something completely different. Let me turn you around. So I can see you. We could go in with the poppies maybe, and we could revisit how we do the poppies. So let me know what you fancy doing. I love doing this. So for me, whether there's one here or 1,000 of you here, I still love doing it. This is my thing. So please let me know what you prefer to do. If you would prefer to do same thing, and we just drum it into you. Maybe we use a different folder, maybe we use a different one. It won't be one I'm selling, it'll be just one that I've got to hand, and we'll just do it. I think spelt that wrong, don't worry. Part 2, yeah, we'll do that. I think we'll do that. So we're going to do the same thing next week, different folders, so it kind of tests you out. And then if you have got them and you've played and you have questions, then next week we can answer all the questions as well, can't we? That's what I thought. Yeah, more. I think watercolors are very underrated. Very, very underrated. People are scared of them. They're scared of them. But I'm going to do one more thing really quickly before we go. Hang on, I've got to do it. I've got to do it because, hang on, I've got to get some colour. Hang on, let me just talk to you for a minute while I'm activating my gold. Just activating the gold. Hang on, I've got to get loads of gold in there. Big brush in there. Let me just turn you around just for a minute. So remember, with paint, you can do things like this as well. Remember, so you can do all your splatty techniques. So once you finish something, I mean, obviously I don't like this one very much. So if I go in here, you do have to do it in this colour on here. So gives a really cool finish. See what I mean? Just splat with your brush. Looks really, really cool. I do like a splatter. So yeah, so if you look here, you can use your paints in different ways, can't you? So now we've got that gold on there. So lovely, so lovely. But I have my other brush for splattering, but I just had that one to hand, so I thought we'd use that one. So I hope you enjoyed that tonight. Let me come back to you because we need to do our liking and sharing, don't we? And we need to give you names of people who are winning things. Okie dokie. And I feel that my heating's gone off again. It's getting very cold around my ankles. And I'm wearing my... Who's got any of those slippers? They're called by Skechers and they're called Bobs. I've got a pair of Bobs and they're so nice and warm and toasty inside. I've got my Bobs on, but even my feet are cold from my Bobs. Okay, so giveaway winners. So now I've got to go onto YouTube because I need to find you a video to watch for next week. Let me go dashboard. No, I don't want dashboard at all. I'm making it up completely. I'm not even on my channel. That would really help, wouldn't it? Okay. So the lovely Claire did a fabulous video. I caught some of it. I couldn't catch it all, but did a video on stenciling numbers with the Ultimate. She stenciled numbers with the Ultimate. So if you're happy to go and watch that, have a little look at that, make some comments, tell me what you think, then you will be in a chance for winning next week. So I'll announce next week somebody who's won a prize for liking and commenting on that video and subscribing. Of course, you must subscribe as well. If you want to, of course, and click that bell for notifications, and then we'll let you know when all other videos are coming out. So that's really cool anyway. So if you can do that, that would be great. But the person who commented on the video last week, who's had all week to comment, the YouTube commenter is Glenda Britton Jones. So Glenda, if you're around, I hope you are, if you could drop Dawn a message and we will have a prize sent out to you and as a thank you for commenting on that. And for tonight, for the liking and sharing on all social media platforms, the lovely Kate Bajent, is it Bajent, Kate, or is it Bagant? Bajent. So lovely Kate has won for liking and sharing this evening. So if you could message Dawn as well for me, and she will let me or Danny know where to send your prize to. So my eyes barely left my work. Oh, bless you. I'm really glad you enjoyed that. I really am glad you enjoyed that. So thank you for joining me. And sorry, things are going to be a little bit slow, but we will try and get there. The container arrives tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. The container is landing. 14 pallets. 14 pallets. Now, we only had 10 last time. And you saw that picture of me going like that. This is 14. So we're taking over both forecourts and getting that in. The Ultimate 2 will be loaded onto the website on the 15th. The Ultimate 1 is available now. The dimensional squares, the posy of roses, the concentric squares are all on the website, I'm pretty sure. And also on the 15th, we will have the new Wonder Brushes loaded, okay? Can't think of anything else tonight, but I will love you and leave you now. So thank you for spending a long time with me tonight. I do appreciate it. And I really hope you get your paints out, play with them, and don't be scared. But we'll go back into more detail next Friday. So have a lovely weekend, everybody. Just stay warm and stay cozy. And thank you for all your support and your kind wishes to Danny. I will go and give him a big cuddle now. Okay, have a lovely evening, lovely weekend, and let's see if we can win the football tomorrow, eh? Yeah, take care. See you later. Bye.